So recently, my friend who doesn't know much about cars at all has asked me a few questions, and I decided to make a video answering all the questions he sent me, and there were a lot of them. Be sure to like the video and subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers, and I know that we can do it, so let's do it. First question, what did you personally do to make your driving experience way better than it already was? Well, I'm sure you guys know from a video a few months ago that I got into an accident, and it was my first ever accident, but when I got in that accident, I changed my driving style completely. You know, I can't afford to keep hitting people's cars because I ain't got it like that yet, but even if I did, that's not something I take pleasure in doing. So I probably have to say that my accident made my driving experience better, if that makes sense. Next question is there any car you will refuse to ever buy because your pride won't let you? Yes, I would never, ever buy a Tesla. I personally don't like Elon Musk as a person, and I damn sure don't like electric cars. I could never with a clear conscience wake up and say, damn, I want a Tesla. It's never happening, and so long as I draw breath, I will never own a Tesla. I'm not going to say that, but, the point still stands. And if I were to buy one, it would be to see what the hype was all about. The next question is, what car prices do you think would go down by 2025? Well, I'd probably say that cars that are not as popular and cars that there aren't a high demand for will probably go down in price. So definitely, not cars like sports cars, muscle cars, and basically cars that people buy to go fast. I'd also say the mom cars will have high demand pretty much all the time. So cars that'll decrease in price will probably be bad cars with a lot of problems that no one wants to deal with. Like, let's say, Range Rover. Moving on, what were all of your favorite cars growing up? From kid to teen and now to adult? Well, growing up, I loved Lamborghinis. I dreamed of having one, and me and my homie even called each other Lambros because we had Lambos on a video game. For my teen years and even now, I've definitely moved away from supercars. I like the muscle cars and the tuner cars. I like cars that aren't too popular in the car community, but are popular enough to where people won't look at me funny each time I bring one up in a conversation. And to be specific, my favorites are the Crown Victoria, the Nissan 350Z, the Toyota MR2 Spider, and a few others. But, well, definitely not a few, but I think that you get the point. All right, the next question is, when did you take a liking to a car and why? I would probably have to say YouTube mainly. I look up these cars on YouTube and watch videos on how they perform, how much aftermarket support they have, the exhaust sounds, the reliability of the car, and I take all of that into consideration when looking at a car I like. In fact, it's how I came to like the Crown Vic so much. They're pretty overlooked and they're great cars. Honestly, I'd like them to stay that way. I don't want too many people wanting to get one and then the prices for them skyrocket like a Miata or a Skyline or a 350Z. I just think that things are better that way. All right, the next question is, are there any specific drifting cars you would ever get? If so, can you give me 2 of them? I'll give you 3 of them. I would get a Nissan 350Z, either an Infiniti G35 or a G37, and if I have a bigger budget, I would even get an E36 BMW. Now, these are definitely 3, of the most popular drift cars you could say out there, but there are like a ton of drift cars out there that can get you sliding, but I think these 3 are the best that are, specifically made for drifting. Next question is, how was your first experience of driving? Terrifying. And I'm not saying that to scare anyone, it was the truth. See, my family had me out there driving with no permit, and I even had to take my brother to school and back with no license and even an expired permit for a time. I thank God his school was around the block, because if it wasn't and a cop would have pulled me over, I would have been finished. But I learned a lot while out on the road legally, and I've seen a lot of places I've never been before behind the wheel. So yeah, it was scary at times, but it was fun and very informative and interesting. Next question is, would you rather get a Tesla Model Y or a Volkswagen Tiguan? Both of those options are less than desirable, to say the least, and I personally wouldn't even look their way. But if I had to pick one, I'd pick the Volkswagen. I don't like Teslas, and I don't like electric cars in general. So even though a Tesla may be more fancy and technologically advanced, it doesn't have gas, which is what all cars should be using. And that's why I would never get one. Next question is, can you name your top 3 cars that you would do anything to drive and why? Yes, I can. Number 1 is the Ram TRX. I would love to drive this car, and I would do absolutely unspeakable things in order for me to own this car, even if it's for a little bit. It's a 707 horsepower supercharged Hellcat pickup truck. I wouldn't want anything in the world more than to have that much power in a pickup truck. Number 2 would be the McLaren 500S. See, I'm a big and tall dude, and even if I can't fit in a McLaren, I would still want to drive one. And I didn't shit my pants and have the time of my life. And well, number 3, I'd probably say, that's a good question, because there are like a lot of cars that I want to own. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably say like a 2000 like Corvette or something like that, because I love Corvettes, and I love the new ones, but I really do have a soft spot for the old Corvettes. And as a bonus, it's not a car, but I'd love to ride and own a motorcycle. Not the fastest one in the world, of course, but I just want to ride one in general. But that's, of course, after I get my license and I have a bike to pick out. All right, the final question for this video is, do you think of yourself more of a truck person or like a fast car person? For example, a Corvette. And I would 100% think of myself as a truck person. I love cars, and I will always love cars. I will always be a car guy. But I'm a truck guy at heart, especially ones that are big and have tons of power, like the TRX. I kind of feel like a king on the road, and I can bully all the Camrys and the Priuses like a jackass. But one of my project cars will definitely be a truck, so I'd say that I am for sure a truck person. But that's it for me, guys. Thanks for watching, and check out the friend who sent me this list of questions. I'll put his info right here. Be sure to subscribe, like the video, and my bad, for taking 3 weeks to post another video. But I just been brainstorming ideas, and I think and the content is gonna be fire. It's just gonna be crazy. On that note, I'll catch you guys later.